Hi folks, Pastor Tina here. Several of you have asked me about Jaqueline. I've gotten lots of questions both in person and online, and if you recall, a few weeks ago now, I did a little video on our chicken Jaqueline who was setting on some eggs, and we wondered how that was going to turn out. So several people have been asking. Well, I have good news and I have bad news. Jaqueline is fine. Jaqueline is doing just fine. However, none of her eggs hatched. So it was very sad for us. After a couple days, she just decided she'd had enough and she was done and the eggs weren't going to hatch. And basically she just stood up and walked away, and suddenly her demeanor completely changed because she had been very grumpy mama chicken sitting on those eggs, and then she just decided, I'm done, and she got up and walked off and started clucking and eating and drinking just like a regular chicken. So unfortunately, we did not get any chicks from that. However, we do have some other good news, and that is that we have two other chickens who are they're not starting, but they're finishing up their 21 days of nesting. One of our speckled Sussexes, I believe that is Irene, and another chicken that's just kind of a barnyard mix. She came out of our chicks that we had last year, and I believe her name is Mary Todd. So we still have hope. We still have hope that we'll get some chicks out of this year's eggs and this year's nesting. And I have also been saying that, and when these two are done, if we don't get any chicks out of it, we're done, because we're not doing this anymore. It's too stressful. But the scripture that I wanted to share with you today is from Romans. Romans chapter 12, verse 12. Rejoice in our confident hope. Be patient in trouble and keep on praying. You know, the truth is sometimes things don't turn out the way that we want. And it can be as devastating as the loss of a loved one, or as just annoying as not finding your keys or dropping something on the floor and breaking it. Sometimes things don't turn out the way that we want, and we find ourselves extremely disappointed, even devastated. So what do we do in those moments? Because it's easy to say, oh, just look ahead and hope for the best. But when you are in the middle of despair or grief or hurt, that doesn't work. So I encourage us to remember that in the hardest and most difficult of times, it's okay to be honest with God. In fact, it's okay to tell God when you're hurt and when you're angry. God can take our honesty. God understands all of our emotions. And even when we're feeling like it's not fair and we're hurt and we don't understand the why, even then, God gets that. I've had a lot of people who in various situations in their lives have made comments to me like, I'm so angry with God and I know that that's not right. Well, I beg to differ a little bit. You know, when you are a parent, sometimes that child gets very angry with you as a parent because they don't understand the reason why something's happening. But the parent understands that anger and still loves the child. And likewise in life, sometimes things happen to us that are so horrific that we feel anger toward God, wondering how God could let such a thing happen. It's okay to tell God when you feel that way, because only when we're honest about how we're feeling and we share that honesty with God, that's when God can work inside of us and bring us to another place, so that eventually we understand it wasn't something God did to us for vengeance or spite or for punishment. Life just happens. And even in our worst moments, God continues to be with us. So whatever you are experiencing today, it's okay to feel the way that you do, but tell God, confess, Be honest. Let God know exactly how you're feeling. And from that point, God will be able to heal your soul and your heart. It will get better. I promise that it will. Sometimes you just have to sit in the bad for a few moments in order to allow God to come in and do the healing that's necessary. And there is hope. Here's our hope. Today is Wednesday. We're looking at eggs that ought to be hatching about Friday or Saturday. We'll keep you informed. And you know what? If nothing comes of these either, we'll get through it with the help of God and one another, and life will go on. I hope you are having a good week. We'll see you next time.